Welcome to the Inspiration North podcast, inspiring stories from inspirational people and how they found their passion, their true north. I'm James Eves.
And I'm Michelle Minikin, and this is the Inspiration North podcast.
Today's episode, Competition is Important for All in Life, with Paul Karter. We talk about what rec to rec or recruitment to recruitment means, the great satisfaction he gets from making people happy and seeing them do well, and the story he's dined out on for 30 years.
Paul is a locally educated individual who has worked his whole career in the recruitment industry. Having worked for a global recruitment organisation for over 20 years, he took the decision to move into the rec to rec sector and set up his own business. He prides himself on giving a bespoke recruitment service to his clients, focused on honesty and integrity. To date, Paul has worked with over 30 clients, primarily in the Northeast, placing recruitment professionals into their next role. In his private life, Paul can be found at St James's Park, following his beloved Newcastle United, and occasionally spending time with his wife.
Now, Paul, you do not sound like you're from around here like us. Is that the case? Or
No, Geordie born and bred. 45 years, 3 years at university, out of the city, and apart from that, lived here all my life. Posh Geordie, maybe. I don't know.
That's all right. We need some of those as well. So where was it you went to school then? Was that
So
Newcastle?
I went to a Jewish school as a child, a very young child, from sort of 5 to 8, and then I went to Royal Grammar School, junior school, and then went all the way through, did my GCSEs and A-levels. So yeah, RGS, very lucky, assisted place for the majority of that time, because growing up we didn't have the money to send me to private school, so yeah, very lucky, privileged I suppose.
And what was the best bit about it?
School. I guess for me it was the sports, so very competitive person, still am I suppose, but loved the sports. I mean, loved the banter, and yeah, it was all boys, so it probably gave me minimal social skills when it came to the fairer sex, do I say? Until I went to university and I was a bit more confident, yeah. But it was certainly the competitiveness, You look at schools now and everything I'm told, we've got no kids, but everything I'm told by my friends and their kids, there's no competition there. You're not allowed to win. Sports days are...
Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
I don't buy into that. Maybe that's controversial. I don't buy into that. I think being a competitive person, you watch Piers Morgan on TV, or I do, and he's all for competition and being a competitive person. I think that's really important in life, to be competitive. Not to the detriment of everything, but I think competition's important.
It's a reflection of what's going to happen when you are out of school into the real world, if we can call it that, is that people will win, people will lose. You won't get a job, you will win a contract, you will lose at something eventually.
So where are the future procurement people coming from if nobody's competitive?
Well, yeah. You work in sales, you've got to be a competitive person. There's no two ways about it.
What were your sports of preference then at school?
So you know what? I've always been a football fan. Always been a Newcastle United fan, season ticket holder, and I've been for, nearly 30 years now. But when I first started school, it was rugby. So I would play rugby, played a variety of positions. So I used to be quite tall for my year. I'm 5'5.5". Obviously, you can't see this on radio. But I always used to be quite tall, so I played a variety of positions. Started playing a hooker, then went to scrum half, fly half, and ended up being a reasonably okay fullback. Just loved rugby, loved playing rugby, loved the competitiveness of it, and I was quick, slim, so yeah, it was a long time ago. Just loved it, just loved playing rugby and the whole competitive sports. And I think that's my problem now, is people say, you just join the gym, and it's like, I can't sit and run, or I can't walk on a treadmill. I've got to play competitive sports, and at 45 that's difficult, I suppose. Can't run for a bus these days.
I think the only one you could probably look at the age of 45 is the G word: golf.
Golf, I do play a little bit of
gymnastics.
golf. I was thinking a bit naughtier than that, but yeah, G word.
I have no idea.
You know what? I've got all the gear, no idea at golf. I'm okay. I play occasionally. Didn't play this year at all, to be honest, but I'm all right. A lot of my friends play golf, and they keep telling me to come and play, but you know, I'm just lazy. I'm lazy. I like going to the pub and drinking, which is not necessarily
pub
great.
Pub
Pub
golf.
golf, yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a
Pub
place
sports.
in Newcastle that does pub golf.
Probably, yeah.
There must be.
There will be. If not,
Yeah.
create one, please, universe.
Yeah. So yeah, school competition. Loved competition.
And didn't you do sort of reasonably well in rising through the ranks in rugby?
I think I did. I played okay, yeah. So I played first team rugby right the way through to sixth form, and then a chap who will remain nameless decided to move from fly half to full back because he wasn't going to get in at fly half, and he was a better full back than me. He went on to play club rugby, so he was very good. So I captained the third team and played quite a lot in the second team as well. So yeah, not too bad. I represented the county a couple of times. Just loved it. Yeah, great game to play. Fortunate that I didn't get too many nasty injuries, but I saw some horrendous stuff. Broken legs, broken arms on the pitch, which was a bit naughty, I suppose. But yeah, pretty lucky with that. A few knee injuries, but nothing else.
And then, as you understand it, you were half decent as well at tennis. Isn't that the case?
I was, yeah. I still down out on this, but I'll come to that. So yeah, I played. So again, my grandfather, he used to pay for my membership at the Northumberland County Club in Jesmond. So played tennis from quite a young age. Worked my way up sort of through the years. Played first team at school. Got my school colours at RGS for tennis. And then being Jewish, I tried out for the Olympic tryouts, and I think it was 1989. So I was happy, delighted actually at the time. It was great to go and represent Great Britain in the Jewish Olympics in Israel. And yeah, everybody laughs at me when I dine out, and that's still 30 years later. But you know what?
I'm an Olympic athlete.
It was 80,000 fans in the ground. It was opening ceremony, flag waving, exactly as you would see in the normal Olympics.
Yeah.
Not saying Jewish people aren't normal, obviously. And you know what? Met people from around the world. I'm not in touch with any of them now, but you know, for a few years, you would sort of, in the old days, it was pen paling and writing letters. Australia, Venezuela, America, Canada. Some fantastic people I met. We stayed on a kibbutz, and it was sort of in dorms, I suppose, and met some wonderful people.
Sounds like a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Well, it was, and I got drawn against the first seed and lost 6-love. Played in the doubles and lost 6-love, and then played in the sort of first round knockout plate and lost 10 games to love. So I suppose claim to fame, I didn't win a game. But I had an amazing 2 weeks in Israel. Got to see the country.
It takes some like doing that though, doesn't it?
What, not to win a game?
Yeah, getting there, but then
Cheers, love.
not to win a game.
Yeah, thanks. And I was a good player, but some of these guys were just way above me in terms of talent. Way above me. And yeah, I still occasionally pick up a racket every now and then. I played, I think about a year ago, 2 years ago, played with a friend, and I'd say he's marginally more mobile than I am, but he plays every week and I still beat him. So I suppose I've still got it, that wicked left hand.
Oh, you could do squash as well, maybe.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
I would keel over playing squash. Squash is a tough sport, and I used to play it. Brilliant for fitness, but it's a tough sport.
And I don't get badminton.
No, no balls.
It's a lot of patience for badminton. You kind of
It's like
You're just waiting for this shuttlecock to come down. You're waiting for God, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'll just open a can of something while I'm waiting for this to come down, and then
I just never got that. It's like,
I did, yeah. I did every sport. I ran. I did cross country. I was a sprinter, so I ran 200 meters. I did the 100-meter relay at school, and then the summer was sort of tennis or cricket. And because I was a good tennis player, I could not bat to save my life in cricket. I used to just get ducks and ones. I think my high score ever was a 4. But I used to open the bowling in the junior school with an old friend of mine who I'm still in touch with now, which is great. And then sort of moved into the sort of specialism of tennis, and we were good. We had a good school team, and I enjoyed tennis. I still watch tennis now occasionally.
cool. Did you know what you wanted to be though when you grew up?
Well, I think as growing up, I always wanted to be a lawyer, which was a bit weird. I was never getting the grades to be a lawyer, unfortunately, because I was I suppose an average student, CCD A levels. So went to uni and did politics. No, I started with English literature and contemporary history, which is literally the most I haven't got a clue what I want to do degree.
Yep.
6, 7, 8 hours a week. The drinking man's degree, I used to call it. Anyway, the English literature was so dull. Apologies to anyone who did an English lit degree. So I moved to politics, and that was actually quite interesting. So, Irish politics, Russian history and politics, etc. So came out, and I didn't really have a clue. So I thought, I might join the police force. Go on to the graduate accelerator scheme that you could do to become detective or whatever. And then I realised you got to work shifts. I thought that's just going to interrupt my
drinking
social life, and I was going to see going to football. So I, as all good graduates do, I came out of university and went to work in a call centre 6 months. Worked for a quite well-known agency in Newcastle, which used to put on free lunches on a Friday.
Oh, lovely.
So we'd plod over from the call centre, go for lunch, and I just said to the recruitment consultant, or the manager at the time, and it probably was a little bit arrogant. I said, I think I'm a bit good for this. Reasonable education, come out with a degree. What's recruitment all about? So she actually picked the phone up and spoke to the branch manager of Adecco. Where I went for just went up for an informal chat, first stage interview effectively. Then invited me back for a second stage, and it was a Saturday morning at the Vermont Hotel. Oh, lovely. So I went in there. The person that interviewed me was clearly hungover. You could just see it in his eyes. He'd been on the drink the night before.
See it in his eyes.
Anyway, yeah, you could. So the following week I got the job. So whether I performed well at the interview, or my banter was okay, or he was just drunk and said, let's just give him the job. I'm not bothered.
So not bothered.
And that was October 97. So started with Adecco in 97 as driving recruitment consultant, actually. So I did logistics for 3 months, which I found really tough, really difficult. Then I went on to do industrial recruitment, became a team leader, managed to, got the opportunity to open a new branch in Cramlington in 2002. Built that up to quite a big business. There was about 400 temps out at one stage in that business within 2 years. And that was literally hard recruitment. So we had no internet access in those days, and we didn't even have emails, I don't think. So I went to a business link in Ashington, bought a book, an A to Z business directory of Northumberland, and rang it through from A to Z.
Oh, wow.
And built that business up to sort of 400 or so temps at peak. Then got the opportunity in the back end of 2004 to move back to Newcastle, which was a much bigger branch, much bigger piece of business, city centre. So I think at peak we had about 17 heads in that business. Had over 1,000 temps at one stage. I think the end of 2006, we made over £1 million net profit that year, which was, probably top 5 in the UK at that time. And I remained there until worked my way through to senior branch manager, principal branch manager, and worked there until April 18 when decided to move on, try something new. I think I'd gone a bit stale, wasn't enjoying it anymore. Enjoyed the project work more than actually what I was being paid to do. So I realised, probably wasn't for me anymore. So moved on. Didn't really know what I wanted to do in the end. And oddly, there might be a theme here over a few beers and a chat with the wife and friends, decided to go alone and take the plunge and go alone. And realised there's a bit of a niche for rec to rec in the northeast. There aren't many of us doing it.
For those that don't know what the term is,
what
does that mean?
So that's So that's recruitment to recruitment. So basically, my business engages with recruitment organisations, and I find recruitment consultants for them. So I place recruitment consultants into recruitment businesses.
Cool.
So yeah, I enjoy it, love it. You know what? I've got the buzz back in what I do. I don't think I was ever that salesy, so I don't need to do a lot of sales in this. If I find a great candidate, I can take them to a client and I can get them interviews because I've now built up a good client base that they will add heads to their business if it adds value to them. So so it is a bit of a niche, but I love it. I love what I do. It's great.
What do you think what is it for you about, say, recruitment and now rec to rec that is what kind of gets you out of bed in the morning? What are the key bits, do you think?
I think so. I ask this question to all of my candidates: what motivates you? And I give them 6 options and 6 options alone, and you can let me know if you think there are any other options. But basically, I think there are 6 motivators that will get you out of bed when that alarm goes off, and that's the challenge of the job, the location of it, where you're based, advancement opportunities, money, hard cash, people, and security, job security. I think for probably 15 years of my career, I was purely money motivated. I just wanted to earn as much as I possibly could, very selfishly. And then it became more about the people for me. So working with the people, developing those people, seeing them do well and them, achieve their objectives in their career. And off the back of that, that gave me great satisfaction and then gave me money after that. So I don't know whether that's an age thing or whether that's just an experience thing and your motivations change. But now for me, money's always important. I've got a mortgage and outgoings on a monthly basis.
Bar bills.
Well, bar bills, yeah, season tickets, social life, food. I like my food. I've gone back to basics with what I do. That doesn't mean that I am money motivated, because I'm not so much as I was. But it makes the world go around, we know. So what gives me the most pleasure about what I do now is the offering the candidate the role and working with them for them to my strapline in my business is, hashtag ensuring we find your perfect fit. And I'm very true to my word with that. I don't pigeonhole people into jobs or companies that I don't think they will be right. I spend a lot of time with my candidates, primarily over the phone, although I try and meet as many as I can, but sometimes time-wise it just isn't feasible, isn't possible. So I spend a lot of time with the candidates over the phone, really getting under their skin and finding out, what motivates them, what they want, what kind of company they want to work with. Because I've now got a good client base, primarily in the Northeast, I can put that round peg in a round hole, and then I can, sell that company to the candidate. And, it usually works out. It doesn't work out all the time. Of course it doesn't. People are people, and, they don't do what they say on the tin. Of course they don't. None of us do. We have emotions and people. But I get the most satisfaction, sorry for the long-winded answer, I get the most satisfaction about getting that candidate their ideal role and their best job, which will, either make them the most money or get them in that team with the best people working around them. Whatever motivates them, find out the motivations and then match that with the right company for them, which, as I said, works out most of the time, but not every time. And I love that. And then offering them that job and speaking to them and then getting my testimonials, because I get a testimonial from all my candidates. So if you go to LinkedIn and have a look at them, they're pretty good, I think. Gives me a nice warm fuzzy feeling. And I'd lost that as a manager of a multi-global or a global recruitment business. I think I'd lost that buzz because I was detached from that, because I was managing the people and doing lots of conference calls, etc. And I'd lost that. And I've actually got, roll your sleeves up, get down and dirty with it again. And I really get that buzz and satisfaction of making people happy again, which is great for me. I love it. And the money's canny.
That rings a bit of a bell for us, that making people happy thing. What's the quote in The Greatest Showman? The noblest art is that of making others happy.
Yes.
Something along those lines.
You see, that is my guilty pleasure, musicals. I do like a musical, I must admit.
Yes, so do we. Which one's your favourite one?
Probably haven't got a favourite, but, I've been in the theatre loads of times. We're going to see Mamma Mia next year, which my friends give me so much stick, because, I have a very eclectic music taste. So musical-wise, Greatest Showman, I liked Star is Born. I think it's funny watching someone like Bradley Cooper sitting on stage singing, which is a bit weird, because he's, he's some of the...
He's from The Hangover.
He's The Hangover, right? And that's, an amazing film.
Yeah.
And then you go, he's a rocker, an aging rock artist, and a very sad story in the end, but I digress. Get so much stick. So I went to see Rod Stewart at the Arena a few months ago with the wife. That's the second time I've seen him, and that was great. I've seen Lionel Richie a couple of times. I took my wife to see Bublé a few Christmases ago, funnily enough, at the Arena. And, these people just put on a really good show.
They do.
And I get so much stick from my closest friends because my music tastes dreadful. I don't think it is, but they think it is. And yeah, musicals, I've got no qualms of sitting down and putting a musical on the TV or going to the theatre.
No, it's fun though. It's like easy, fun.
It's just easy escapism. Yeah, very much.
And do you sing
Very
along?
much. I can't sing, but God, I do. I do
try.
sing along. I wouldn't sing along at the theatre because that's just not fair on people's ears.
Oh,
But
yeah.
sitting at home, yes, blast out, your ABBA stuff and Mamma Mia and that. Yeah, good fun.
We went to see Hamilton Easter in London. It was epic, but we didn't know the word. We didn't actually even know what the story was. All I knew going to see Hamilton was Michelle Obama and Barack Obama really liked the play. That's all I knew. And it was like going to a concert. Everyone was singing back at them. It was really cool.
People whooping.
Yeah.
And,
I know all the
come on,
words
people,
now.
this is the theatre.
Yeah.
But it was...
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's sort of hip-hop,
Really good.
historical element of
It's one of the founding
Alexander
fathers.
Hamilton's journey,
Okay.
and then sort of hip-hop elements brought in to
And
give it a slant.
very diverse
Yeah.
characters. That it was brilliant. It was really good.
I think I just weird. I listen to anything. Bohemian Rhapsody. So it came out on my birthday. So my birthday October the 27th. Cards welcome. And it was last year. It came out 2018, and it was I reckon the first time. I'd said to my wife, the first time since I was about 17 or 18 that I didn't have a drink on my birthday. We went out for a bite to eat, went to the cinema, came home.
Oh.
It's like, yeah, because I don't drink in the house at all. I only drink when I'm out. So it was like, yeah, this is a bit weird. Am I getting old here? But then we went out for my birthday this year, so I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah. But yeah, massive film buff. Like my musicals, like the theatre. Yeah, films. I think films are our go-to. Films and box sets, definitely.
Yes, you've not seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet, have you?
Nope.
No.
Brilliant
On the
film.
list.
Yeah, great. If you like Queen, great film.
Do.
Yeah, my little boy loves that film. It was almost kind of, should I let him watch it? But it's like,
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
was
a 12 or something, isn't it? But I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
He had some questions, obviously, about AIDS and homosexuality. And
Yeah, I
stuff.
think they
He just had to answer them.
I think they portrayed it very well.
Yeah.
The whole storyline was very good. Obviously, they had poetic license with some of it. I'm sure they did. But great. Freddie Mercury was a great character anyway, and they made it into a really good film. I think did it win some Oscars? I think it did.
Yeah, they probably did. But I was really disappointed that Rocket Man was a 15, so Oliver was desperate to go and see that. I'm like, dude, you've got like 5 years.
So again, I like Elton John, but it's not something I've seen.
Have you
Haven't
not?
seen that. No. I'll wait for it to come out on
On Sky.
satellite. Sky. Won't advertise. I'll wait for it to come out on Sky, then I'll watch it, I think. Yeah. And then they've got that new one out at the moment, which is George Michael with the girl from Game of Thrones, Emilia
really?
Clarke. It was probably called Last Christmas, I would imagine. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I've not seen that one.
It's just out the cinemas now. They're trying to make it a bit of a Love Actually kind of film, I think. But not. Yeah. Again, I'll probably wait for that to come out in the on Sky.
It's all the same genre, though, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah, it is.
who else can there be? We'll have to have a Michael Jackson one. That'll not go.
Sure. Did they do a Beatles one? I think they're just yeah. But they've obviously seen Bohemian Rhapsody's been really successful, and they're just trying to follow it on. But we'll see how it goes. I suppose.
I'll watch the Madonna film. That'd be a good one.
No.
No.
Not for me.
Oh yeah. Her now, though, bless her. Just like put some clothes on.
Oh yeah, she's in her 60s now, isn't she? All coming up to it.
It's crackers.
But there's someone, I'm going to do a segue here. So Madonna is always often described as not someone that had necessarily the best voice, but was really good at reinventing herself. So leaving a deco, reinventing yourself.
Reinventing myself.
In the rec to rec. There's the segue.
Maybe I'm the Madonna of the recruitment
Madonna of the
world.
recruitment world. There's the tagline for LinkedIn.
And you're living in a material world.
Well, I am, and I'll tell you what, I bet you I've fallen off some stages in my time as well. In fact, I know I have.
So you talked about the sort of the best bits about setting your own business up.
Yeah.
What been the scariest bits?
The absolute scariest thing about doing it is I probably lost my sales confidence because I hadn't done proper sales, I suppose, for a long time. Once I got to the management role, I was just a bit too comfortable and didn't push myself out of my comfort zone. So I guess it was literally day one. So I set the business up, we went on holiday, came back, and I'm like, okay, this is day one. I've got a laptop in front of me and a spreadsheet, an empty spreadsheet. What do I do? And I guess the scary thing was I literally had about 3 months worth of slush money.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't working in 3 months, it wasn't going to work, and I would have needed to find myself a proper job. Do I dare say? Sorry, clients, my fees are good, and I work hard for it. So I think it was building up a client base and building up a candidate base and building up a profile. I'd always been on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a massive tool for me, massive tool for all small business owners, I suppose, particularly within a sales environment. And I just started connecting with recruitment consultants more so than I had done, and recruitment businesses. Within about a week, I saw a post on LinkedIn from a prospective client looking for recruitment consultants. And so I just picked the phone up and had a chat, had a meeting with this prospective client, and they gave me their business, which was very good of them. And I've placed now in 18 months about 6 people with them.
Oh, cool.
So they keep coming back to me, so I think they're
They must
happy
have
with the
enjoyed you,
services.
yeah.
And it just sort of spiraled from there. Once you get the people, you do your research, you speak to the hiring managers, the organisations, and primarily I work with SMEs, so I'm straight to the founder or the CEO of that business, because you go to national businesses and usually they've got to put a business case into their regional manager, to their operations manager, to the FD. The FD tends to run businesses as opposed to the MD. And it can take forever for them to get a sign off on your terms, etc., etc. Although I do work with some great national companies, the quickest turnarounds I get are with the clients that I have that know that I can present them a candidate, and if they will add value to their business, then they will make a seat for them. They will make a space for them. And I've had some real success with that with a few clients in the northeast. There's a company that opened in South Tyneside maybe a little over a year ago now, and they're a smallish team. I think they've got 6 heads, and I've recruited 3 of those people, and I know they make a big difference to their business. So you talk about motivations, that still gives me a great feeling, fuzzy feeling. I'm going to go out and before Christmas and thank them for their business and go and see the guys, etc., because I still care about how they're doing, and I share all the candidates that I place. That if they post, they post on LinkedIn, I'll either like them or I'll share. So I'll do a lot of them for them as well, because I want them to be successful.
Yeah.
So, what was your question again?
What about setting up your own business?
Yeah. So that the scary thing is, and the scary thing still is, 18 months later, I don't earn a salary. So I have to do well. I have to be successful every month to make ends meet, and that drives me on, money wise. But it's certainly not my sole motivator. And this month I've had my best month. This month, I won't say how much I've billed because my clients will try and haggle my fees down. But I've had a really good month, and that will take me all the way through to sort of end of February. I've got all my corporation tax due and another VAT return to pay in February, and my private HMRC tax. So whereas that is a stress, and you're coming up to it and you're coming, my goodness, I need to get this money because I'm rubbish with money. I've got 3 business accounts, one for VAT, one for corporation tax, and one for just a current account. Of course, you should put each proportion away every month or every invoice. That just doesn't happen, does it? So I've got the money now, or I will have the money come mid-December, and I will just pay all my taxes, which will be an amazing feeling and a real sort of stress off. So it's just, it's making those ends meet, I suppose, because it's not just as simple as saying you bill X amount and it's all yours in your pocket, because it isn't, of course.
We always joke, don't we, about when you set up your own business and you've come out of a corporate and then your laptop's not working or your phone's not working, and it's like, oh, I can't call IT and ask them to do something about it. I forgot my password.
On yourself without even getting told to do that.
I've got to go to. So Rec to Rec is, it's enormous across the UK, and we, I speak to quite a lot of different Rec to Recs. We share candidates, we split fees. There's enough business across the UK for all of us, so we build relationships. So I've got a go-to guy who I won't name, Chris, who's based in Liverpool, and he is just a techie. He's just unbelievable. So I'll ring him and he can go in and he's got an app or whatever where he can jump into my system. So we're going to have a little mooch about. Probably has to look at all my candidates and clients as well. But he'll go and fix it. So I was getting a problem with my Outlook. He's like, I'll fix that, and he just jumps in and fixes it for me.
That's brilliant.
And all it costs me is a pint, which is fine.
It's good rate, isn't it?
I'm
Not a bad rate, yeah. Well, we met for the first time, known each other now for 18 months. We met for the first time at a LinkedIn North meetup in Leeds a couple of weeks ago. And it was great, it's speak to him maybe once a week, once a fortnight. It's really nice to actually put a name to a face or face to a name. And
see you in real life.
See him in real life. He's much shorter in real life, actually.
Really?
Probably said the same about me, in fairness. But, we had a great night, and I met, people that I engage with on LinkedIn all the time, almost daily, that not necessarily within my my business, but I engage with them because the content's very good, and hopefully vice versa. And we sat, we had some beers, and it was good. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, there's my go-to person. But you're right, you come out of that and you're, what you do. I've got an accountant who obviously gives me the accountancy advice, but apart from that, we just got to figure it out yourself as you go, I suppose.
Yeah, which is, I think that's part of the challenge and the excitement, and you can bounce ideas off people. And
Totally.
But then the upside is that from your efforts, the results that follow, you can say, well, either I've not done enough and that's the result, or I've done a lot and here's the great stuff that's come out of it.
Yeah.
And that's the satisfaction, I think, isn't it?
The biggest, so I think, and I'm sure it's not just me, but you get a candidate offered the role, they accept it and they're starting. The easiest thing to do is to say, that's me done for the day, and go and sit down, put my feet up, have a cup of coffee.
Put
go
Greatest Showman on.
Obviously the Greatest Showman, that's my go-to, isn't it? Or Frozen. I've been known to fall asleep to Frozen. How bad's that?
Have you watched the second one yet?
No, I didn't watch that. I don't even know why I watched the first one. Just sing along to that famous
apparently
song,
Apparently it's brilliant, the second one. I've had some really good feedback.
But that is, and I know a lot of recruiters want to do the same, but I'm in the fortunate position, I suppose, that it's my business, so I can take some downtime. And I know December for me, there's not a lot of recruiters in December, are looking to move. They're looking to, they're waiting till the end of January or the end of Feb, end of year bonuses and, Christmas parties and all that paid by the companies they work for. My flip is get a new job in December and you get to meet your new colleagues over a drink in, at their Christmas parties, which is great. But not many people move, so I'm in a fortunate position where I am still busy and I do still have vacancies, but not that many recruiters now are coming, are interested in talking to me within December, unless it's for a January or a February start. So I'll just sort of take my foot off the gas a little bit in December and sort of recharge the batteries for 2020, unbelievably.
Well, we're kind of supposed to, as humans, sort of relax and retreat and renew almost over the winter months, so it's probably going to be good for your sort of general health as well, not having that constant drive.
It'll be rotten for my health because I'll just be in the pub.
No, okay, fair enough.
I won't. And I actually don't drink, contrary to popular thoughts. I don't drink at home, and I don't drink during the week unless there's an occasion.
Yeah.
I very rarely crack open a drink at home. So it's like binge drinking at weekends for me.
Binge drinking.
Yeah. Of course. You've got to have a social life, haven't you?
So what's your go-to drink?
Pint lager, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Drink too much and then it goes to gin and tonics. Or if we go out for a meal, I actually culturally quite like a nice glass of wine now.
Okay, lovely.
Bottle of wine. Red. Don't really drink white. Like a Malbec.
Oh, so do I. It's my favourite.
Argentinian.
Canny,
yeah.
Canny.
Yeah, we were in New York in February, talking about drink. The last night we were there, we booked a more expensive restaurant, I guess, a nicer restaurant in Hell's Kitchen. And it was an Argentinian steakhouse. Actually, it was called Chimichurri Grill. I remember that now. And we thought we'll go for a really nice meal because we'd just been going to Irish pubs and just eating sort of, easy Irish stews and all that kind of stuff. So we ordered some expensive steaks and we just said, have you got any Argentinian Malbec on the wine menu? And it's like, oh yeah, we'll bring you that. So we got the bill at the end of the night and it was like, what was it, $100 for a bottle of red wine? Jeez. We had 2 of them. It's like, that's a bit naughty.
It's like, sometimes like,
I know, but you know what, it was, you work hard and I think that you need to reward yourself sometimes. Go a little bit, but over the top sometimes, but that's why we work, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, the reward for all the hard work. Otherwise it's constant slog and it's
Totally.
what
You've
you're
got,
doing it for.
and I think that's my message is definitely work-life balance. I can work some weeks I can work 60 hours and I can be meeting candidates on a Sunday and speaking to them on a Saturday night and at 7 o'clock in the morning. Other weeks I can balance that with a 20-hour week or less. I think it's, the key for me is my accountant nailed it. And my accountant said, nobody's paying you for your time, they're paying you for your expertise. And that really resonates in terms of the fact that, I always used to work, for 20 years I worked 50 hours a week, Monday to Friday, 8 till 6, eating lunch at your desk. And, you get to the age that you get into your 40s and actually you need to slow it down a little bit. So I love the work-life balance that running my own business gives to me. Now that does never to the detriment of clients. I'll never sit about doing nothing when clients have demands, because why would I? But when you can, take it. Still up at 6 o'clock, 6:15 every morning. Make the wife a cup of coffee, sort the dog out. So I'm at my desk by 8 o'clock every morning without fail. But you can take a couple of hours. You can go off and do a podcast without worrying too much that your boss is going to give you a kicking.
Yes, that's true.
So yeah, it's the balance. I love it. I love the balance, and I love what I do. And I always, when I interviewed recruiters when I was at Adecco, the first question I would be is, the day you get out of bed, the day your alarm goes off and you don't want to get out of bed to go to work is the day you need to find another role. And I'll live by that, and I'll always live by that.
Yeah, definitely.
Or another career.
Okay, so if you had to get into a time machine and go back and speak to 18-year-old Paul, what advice would you give him?
That's a very good question. That's a tricky question, isn't it? I guess. So I'm pretty well known, certainly within my circle of friends, for not having much of a filter. So I sort of say it as it is. And I'm not sure that's necessarily done me any great favours in my career. I'm still ambitious, of course I am. But I think I had ambitions ahead of maybe where others saw me, because I probably was a little bit more opinionated and a bit more outspoken when really and a little less empathetic than perhaps I should have been. So maybe to find a bit of empathy, to think before you speak, and to certainly get that filter, because that's what my friends say about me, no filter.
It's always probably why they like having you around as well, though.
Yeah.
It's fairly entertaining.
I suppose I am, yeah.
The way you stand.
I fall asleep. I fell asleep in a pub last season after one of the matches. I was drunk. And just had a little power nap. Came back from the races. We had corporates for Kempton races on Saturday. And had a little 10-minute power nap. And then a memory came up on my Facebook page from one of the long service lunches from 4 or 5 years ago at Adecco, and one of my former colleagues, he's a very good friend of mine, posted it on Facebook. Does this look familiar? Having a little nap. Having a little nap on the train. So yeah, a bit nappy.
A bit nappy.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just a little nana nap. It's okay when you're in your mid-40s.
It all helps, doesn't it?
It does. If anyone has listened to your story and is interested, whether it's a client, whether it's a recruiter, it's a candidate, where is the best place to find you other than the pub?
You won't find me at the pub unless it's a Friday night or a Saturday. So I'm on LinkedIn, Paul Karter, with a K, of course. My contact details are on there. So my email address is on there, my website's on there, all my jobs, my currently active jobs are on the website. Mobile numbers on there as well.
Okay.
I said email address, I think. Or just message me. Call, text, WhatsApp, carrier pigeon, Morse code, whatever you want. I'm always available. So, if it's late at night, drop me a text, please. But yeah, I'm always available.
Great. Well, it's been fascinating to hear more about a different sector that I'd only probably found out about this year, actually, the rec-to-rec side of things, not knowing that existed. So it's been an education.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thank you ever so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Thanks everyone for listening. Check out all the show notes at inspirationnorth.com. Join us again for the next episode when we'll be chatting to another inspirational person. If you like this, subscribe and tell your friends. If you didn't like this, subscribe anyway and tell everybody.